you certain?
Yes, sir.
You found them in everything?
Of course, sir. They're tiny, and they're everywhere. They're full of empty space, and they're the fundamental building blocks of all matter and board games.
So, if we could somehow control the market on these things, think of the possibilities.
But, sir, you're talking about
compounding or chemistry. Compounding or chemistry.
Better gaming through chemistry.
Compounding or chemistry.
Hi, I'm board game designer Daryl Louder. You may recognize me from my other titles, such as... Okay, Compounded is my first game, but that line's going to be fantastic when my subsequent games come out afterward, okay? Yeah. So, elements. 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 Think of elements like letters in the alphabet. Let's take D for example, okay? Let's say D is an element. You can't cut D down to a different letter. It will always be D. If you take D away, another letter doesn't take its place. It's D. D. The same is true of elements. Let's take oxygen, for example, okay? You can't cut oxygen down to a different element. It will always be oxygen. No other element will ever take its place. If you take oxygen away, well then... Now, elements on their own are fine, dandy even. But if you put them together, then they make compounds. And compounds is where compounding gets its name, and that's where the fun really begins. Remember my poorly thought out letter analogy earlier on? Yeah. Well, compounds are like words that the element alphabet, if you were, uses to make up those words. Words like, I don't know, please, and support, and my game, just to name a few examples. It's these compounds where the strategy lies. Now Compounded is more robust than ever, like a good cup of Viva Java. Or as exhilarating as your first roller coaster ride at a carnival. Or maybe even as strong as an 18-wheeler hauling its load across the great Heartland hauling company. Is that all of them? Good. Compounded has lab tables to manage, experiments to watch, and lab tools to keep you safe, or to make you dangerous. What's that? You want to learn how to play Compounded? Well then please, consider the following.
In Compounded, players take on the roles of competitive chemists, each racing to complete chemical compounds before their wily cohorts. The lab setup looks something like this. Bear in mind that this is a prototype and some bits will be upgraded and superbly crafted by expert designers. In the center of the lab are compounds. During the game, players will use these elements, guile, and a bit of luck to complete these compounds for points, some special powers, and overall pride in the lab. Although players are working in the same lab to complete the same compounds, each player has an individual workbench that contains experiments that can be improved after successfully completing a compound, as well as tools gained during play that can help you out or hinder your fellow lab mates. As you may well know, chemistry can sometimes be dangerous. Occasionally, players will encounter lab fires that may jeopardize their work on flammable compounds, causing them to explode and scattering elements onto neighboring compounds. Luckily, each player is equipped with a CO2 extinguisher, but they'll have to decide whether it's worth their time to fill it up with their precious elements or risk a later loss. Although Compounded does involve a fair shade of pressure, luck, tension, and certainly some strategic planning, the most successful scientists will often be those who strike a good trade with their fellow lab mates. Players are able to freely trade elements, laboratory tools, and even favors, ultimately proving if there is truly honor among chemists.
So please, consider backing Compounded. You may not even like, know, or believe in science, but you can still enjoy playing it.
You know, for many of us, board games are all that matter. It matters what makes up a board game.
I see what you did there.
So please, today, practice the scientific principle of inertia by throwing your hard-earned money at us.
Yeah, just press that pledge button over there and help us make better gaming through chemistry.